Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hi. I just had a quick question. I was wondering if someone there could help me with it.
Sure.
Cool. Well, I studied with witnesses at one time, and so sometimes I read like the latest Watchtower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they post them online and stuff. Did you see the one February 2017?
February 2017. I don't think I've gotten.
Oh, okay. I know they put them like kind of way ahead, but I guess a lot of like magazines do that. But yeah, it's just like one thing that really stuck out to me was in the article, "Who is Leading God's People Today?" It says that the governing body is not inspired.
Yes.
So that's not surprising to you?
No, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's because, remember, the ones who wrote the Bible, those were inspired because they actually wrote the Word of God. But the governing body don't claim to be inspired because it's not like they're writing a new Bible or anything like that.
Oh.
They're just portraying the information from the Bible.
Well, how would you define inspired? I mean, if you had to give like other words to say what it means.
Inspired, I would probably say maybe I would say inspired. I'm trying to think of another action. Going into action, maybe gaining instruction on what to do. Inspired really would be to get filled, I believe, with some sort of spirit, which is what the apostles were filled with, and those who wrote the Bible.
Well, would you say like it could mean like instruction from God?
I would say so as well.
How about something revealed by Jesus and Jehovah?
Yeah, that would be something inspired as well.
Or a message Jehovah has for us.
Yeah.
Okay, well, those expressions and really many others are used in the publications to describe the publications.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, those mean inspired. So that's where I'm confused because, you know, to say they're not inspired, but then they use expressions that mean inspired as their claim, you know?
Yeah. So really what it boils down to is when it's using the word inspired in the Bible, it's because these men basically under the inspiration of God wrote down the information that we now have in the Bible. Just
like the phrase, a message Jehovah has from us, or that their writings are not of human origin.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what I'm telling you is I'm reading phrases from the publications that are their claims about themselves, about the publications, about the faithful and discreet slave. So, you know, essentially what you're saying inspired means, they're very careful not to use the word inspired, but don't you think that's essentially claiming inspiration, those type of phrases?
Well, if it was brand new information, I would say yes.
Brand new? How new does it have to be? Are you saying it was okay if they claimed inspiration, you know, a year ago, or how new would it be legitimate for you?
It would have to be from the Bible, because it would have to be basically a book from the Bible, and no one's been inspired to write a book for the Bible for many years. Okay,
so you're not really following my question. I mean, my question is, although the governing body claims, and their writings, they claim are not inspired, they use expressions claiming, you know, inspiration using other words, you know. Like I could say, I'm not tired, I'm exhausted, but I'm not tired. See, it's just using a different word. And when I read you those expressions, you agreed that they do mean inspired, you know. If I describe what I wrote as not of human origin, well, where did it come from then?
it would only originate from Jehovah God.
Okay, so you're saying the Watchtower publications do originate from Jehovah God. That means inspired. Because they call their writings not of human origins. You know, and members, there's a quote also they gave that said members must obey the slave as the voice of God. Why would you have to do that then if they're not inspired?
Well, it's the information that's being given is from God. All the information comes from God. Therefore, anything that comes from the Word of God, just like second.
No, they're not talking about specific Bible verses. They're talking about the publications and their direction. They're putting it on that same level, you know. Like, for example, they parallel themselves always with Moses by saying that you're like Korah if you disagree with them. Now, Moses was a prophet, and he was inspired. Why would that be a good illustration?
That's interesting. From which Watchtower did you read that?
They use the Moses-Korah parallel all the time, and then show Korah and his sons being crushed into the earth. Kind of like implying that if you don't obey them, that might happen to you.
It's interesting.
I can't give you the references, but really, you should be familiar with that. I mean, they talk about it in their talks, in the publications. It's a constant parallel.
You know, it would be interesting, and I would like to be able to maybe pass by and kind of see some of these references, so maybe we can go over them.
That would be great. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't really live close to there, because like where I live, like sometimes I want to ask a question or something, but they don't really answer the phone, so I thought maybe I just pick a random number and maybe someone would be there, So I don't really live close to there.
That's good. It's good to have questions.
Yeah.
If you don't have questions, how are you going to get answers?
Exactly. So maybe you could email me or something like that.
Absolutely. What's the email?
Okay. I know it's not cool to have AOL. You probably thought it's from the prehistoric age or something, right?
No.
I don't know. What's the cool email address now? I don't know, like Gmail or I don't know. I'm totally I started a long time ago. And then it's so hard to change it too. Then how do you change it after everybody has
everything up there?
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great topic cuz that's a pretty recent it did stand out to me that they said they weren't inspired. That's in February 2017. Paragraph 12. So, I know they've said that, all along, but, it's just interesting. The expressions they describe themselves with seem like the meaning of inspired, and we can talk about it more, and, I can give you any reference if you're interested.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope I hope we can connect sometime on email, and that would be great.
All right. And
thanks for being so nice.
Confirm.
Huh?